except for when I was sick and when it came to running the mile. So I don't know if it was selective asthma, 3rd or 4th grade. When I was running the mile, I had an asthma attack. Nothing serious, but basically it comes on like I just can't stop coughing. I'm like coughing and gasping. I was on the other side of the field from where the teachers were. So I guess to them it just looked like I had stopped running. Anyways, I still, at least last time I checked, still have the paper from that gym class where it said my mile time was 23 minutes or something like that. I had gotten a D for that mile time then because it was so slow, but I had told them like I was dying of asthma and nobody cared. No, I was not a fan. And then the next year, it was a little bit better, but I think I still got, 15 to 20 minutes, somewhere in there. And then the next year, I finally got smart, and I got a doctor's note so that I did not have to run the mile. If I am being honest, that doctor's note, I didn't really need that doctor's note. It was real. It was a real doctor's note. And I really did have asthma. I probably could have run. I just hated running at gym class. In fact, after high school, I actually took up running. I ran several 5Ks, and I've run 4 half marathons. Not well, mind you, but it was something I wanted to do to show that I could do it, to show myself, nobody else. I can run, and I can run without having an asthma attack. But am I glad that I got a doctor's note and got out of running the mile? Yes, extremely glad. That was a great move by me. I remember that the teacher would have me bring out a chair to sit, and then I would watch. Oh my gosh, this is so silly. They would have me take out a chair, and then all of my friends would just run past me as I'm sitting in this chair. I'm like, hello, because also they knew that it wasn't actually real. So funny. Then after the mile, you would get freezies. That's like flavored ice in the long tube. And it was my job to then hand people those when they finished their mile. And then I still got one. So, in my eyes, that was a win by me. Gym was never my favorite. Let's fast forward to where it gets even more not my favorite, and that is in middle school. In middle school, and remember I went to a small school that was K through 12, so I'm having the same gym teachers my entire school, basically. So in middle school, that's when we finally had to wear gym uniforms. And I wish I could tell you these were cute, but they were so not cute. They were the box so you could write your last name in it. And then the shorts that we had were these shorts that were just obviously ugly, and they were so long. So long. I'm talking, if you wanted to roll them up, you were looking at 5 to 6 rolls. So even if you wanted to have short shorts, you would have a thick waistband because you had to roll it up so many times. We were not allowed to roll them up too much. And if the teacher found that you would get in trouble. They were supposed to be, beyond your fingertips. So if you put your hands down by your side, your shorts had to be beyond that. The whole look was not my favorite. I don't really remember where we kept these. I also don't remember, how often was I washing it? I have no idea. Just another check mark on the con side of gym class. If you had gym that was right after lunch, then you would be a part of taking the tables or putting the tables up. And if you had gym class before lunch, you would be responsible for putting the tables down. So I liked being in those because then that means cutting out at least 5 or so minutes of the gym class. There would also be 2 people that took the elementary kids' lunch boxes back to their classroom because they would have them in this bin. So I always hoped to get that gym class. But let me tell you about the different types of, I think they were called units, that we had in our gym class. So the units were the different types of games and sports that we would play. We had all of the usual units of football and soccer and basketball, volleyball, all the regular ones. But then we would have some different ones too. All the regular ones, by the way, were so boring. Least favorite one was soccer because we would play World Cup. In World Cup, you would have a partner and you would choose what country you were going to represent. And then you would just be a whole bunch of people on the field, and your goal is to kick the ball into the goal, and you say your country as you kick your ball into the goal. My friend and I, she also hated gym. We were not a good pair for gym because neither of us were good at sports. But we were best friends, so play this game, and if you were the last one to get it, then you had to be the goalies for the next round. And we never got it, so we were always the goalies. The goalie was a nightmare because you just have balls being kicked at you all the time because it's just all these people. It's like dodgeball, but you're in a soccer net. We don't actually care about blocking the balls. We're just trying to avoid getting hit by them, and we're screaming. I really think that those PE teachers, the gym teachers that we had throughout our entire school career, I really do feel like they found some sort of enjoyment with seeing the non-athletic certain things in the presidential fitness test. So you would spend a week doing those, and then it would come to official test day, and then if you were the best in your school, you would get the presidential fitness award. Yeah, I was not getting those. I think I ever did a pull-up or the hanging. I did for like 2 seconds. Wasn't the sit and reach a part of that? And the sit and reach, you're sitting down, and then you have that measuring thing that moves, and you put your hands together and go towards your toes and try to push that measuring thing as far as you can. I, for the longest time, could not even get to the measuring thing because I couldn't get past my toes. And I remember the gym teacher saying to me that 80-year-olds could do this. Like, okay, is that helpful? No, not helpful. We also had skate week. Skate week was a favorite of almost everyone. I did not love skate week, and for a while I hated it. But then I did learn how to skate a little bit better, so I would like it then. But skate week, in the beginning of like the first several years that we had skate week, it was only roller skates. You know, big chunky wheels, 4 wheels roller skates. And those were hard. They were just so heavy and clunky. And then later into the years, it would be half roller skates and half roller blades. I'm trying to think if towards the end, like senior year, if people still did roller skates or if it was just became roller blades. In 6th grade, there was a kid who would just race around so much, and he ended up, like when he was making a corner, he was so good at skating, so he was getting really low to the ground and kicking his leg out, and he kicked it out accidentally right where I was. So he I basically flew up and fell down on my tailbone, and my tailbone has never been the same since that moment. It's usually